Slovenia. No country in Europe offers more in so little space. Some places seem too extraordinary to have been shaped by nature alone. Beneath its mountains lies a vast underground world. In some places, history was built directly into the landscape. In others, even the highest hilltops became places of worship. Today, we explore the places that make Slovenia unforgettable. You'll see how an entire world fits inside one small country. Postojna Cave. This cave is one of the most extraordinary underground worlds in Europe. The exploration route extends approximately 5 kilometers into the depths of the cave. Most of the route is covered by an underground train, while the remaining section is explored on foot. The Brilliant is one of the cave's most iconic rock formations. Its extraordinary purity of color has made it the most recognizable formation in the cave. The cave is the natural habitat of the mysterious olm, one of Europe's most unusual creatures. Its distinctive appearance has earned it the remarkable nicknames human fish and baby dragon. Thanks to its slow metabolism, the olm can survive for years without food and live for around 100 years. These extraordinary adaptations make it one of the world's most unusual vertebrates. Few places in Europe offer an experience quite like Postojna Cave. Kupljenik. This small village lies at the foot of the Jelovica Plateau. The settlement was first mentioned in historical records dating to the late 14th century. The Church of St. Stephen, located in the center of the village, is the most important historical structure of the settlement. The church itself is believed to date back to the 15th century. Its slender bell tower and Baroque dome make it one of the most elegant examples of rural Slovenian architecture. Despite its preserved historic character, the village's population has been steadily declining since the middle of the last century. Soča. This emerald river is one of Europe's most captivating natural wonders. The small bridges over the river were built for more than just crossing. Thanks to their location, they offer panoramic views of the river's most spectacular sections. Because of its high water quality, The river forms a unique ecosystem that provides life for many native species. Thousands of years of erosion have created narrow gorges and deep hollows along the river. This process has also led to the formation of many natural pools and small cascades. Today, these natural formations are among the most popular spots on the river for swimming and cliff jumping. The most impressive traces of erosion can be seen in the Great and Small Soča gorges. The Great Soča Gorge gradually narrows along its length of more than 700 meters. In some sections, the rock walls come so close together that they leave only a strikingly narrow 2-meter corridor. The Small Soča Gorge is much shorter, yet its rock walls close in even more tightly. The Soča Valley offers much more than its spectacular gorges. Rafting, kayaking and canyoning routes attract thousands of nature lovers to the region every year. The routes range from gentle stretches for beginners to challenging rapids for experienced adventurers. Today, campsites and glamping sites line many sections of the river. They allow visitors to remain surrounded by nature long after the day's adventures have ended. Maribor. This historic city has preserved some of Slovenia's most remarkable cultural treasures. One of its greatest symbols is a historic grapevine that has survived for centuries. Nearly 5 centuries old, the vine continues to bear grapes every year. Because of this, it is recognized by Guinness World Records as the world's oldest fruit-bearing grapevine. Glavni trg is one of Maribor's oldest public spaces. Today, the square continues to be one of the city's liveliest meeting points. The plague column at the center of the square was erected after the great epidemic that shook the city in the 17th century. At the top of the monument stands a depiction of the Virgin Mary. In the lower section, 6 saints believed to protect against epidemics are depicted. The National Liberation Monument in Freedom Square was built to commemorate those who lost their lives during the Second World War. Today, it stands as one of the most important symbols of Maribor's recent history. Inside the monument, documents belonging to the victims of the Second World War are preserved. In this respect, it is not only a sculpture, but also a historical memorial. Throughout history, the city grew thanks to the Drava River. The river both made transportation easier and played an important role in the development of trade. The Old Bridge is one of Maribor's most important transport links. From here, Maribor's historic centre can be seen from some of its most beautiful angles. The Lent Tabor footbridge, running parallel to the Old Bridge, connects the two banks of the Drava with a modern crossing. The bridge is open only to pedestrians and cyclists. Among the city's historical structures, Maribor Cathedral holds a special place. Behind its imposing appearance lies a history dating back to the 12th century. First built in the Romanesque style, the structure was later expanded with Gothic architecture. Maribor's religious architecture is not limited to this cathedral alone. Another important place of worship in the city is the Basilica of Our Mother of Mercy. Its red brick facade and two tall towers make the structure one of the most distinctive elements of the city skyline. Beyond its historic landmarks, Maribor is also known for its pedestrian-friendly city centre. Much of the city centre is reserved for pedestrians. As a result, its original atmosphere has been remarkably well preserved. Podzemlje Pece. This extraordinary underground world is one of Europe's most remarkable adventure centres. Because it was once used as an active mine, much of its original infrastructure has survived to the present day. The exploration begins with the original mining train once used to transport ore. The journey takes visitors into tunnels deep inside the mountain. But the adventure does not end there. Some of the old mining galleries have now been transformed into underground cycling routes. Cycling hundreds of meters below ground is an experience that can be found in very few places in the world. The exploration also continues through water-filled galleries. The tunnels where miners once worked are now home to silent underground lakes. Exploring them by canoe reveals the mine's quietest and most mysterious sections. Grad Snežnik. The castle's history dates back to the 13th century. However, it acquired much of its elegant appearance during the 19th century. One of the most striking features of the structure is its harmony with the pond. The former defensive moat was most likely converted into the pond seen today. On windless days, the castle is perfectly reflected on the surface of the pond. Exploring the castle by boat is one of the best ways to experience it. From the water, its elegant architecture can be admired from an entirely different perspective. Thanks to its location, surrounded by vast forests, it was once also used as a hunting lodge by nobles. Together, these features make Grad Snežnik one of Slovenia's most enchanting castles. Soteska Vintgar. This impressive gorge lies at the entrance to Triglav National Park. Until the late 19th century, reaching the inner sections of the gorge was almost impossible. Shortly after its discovery, wooden bridges and galleries were built into the rocks, opening it to visitors. Extending for approximately 1.5 kilometers, this route passes through the narrowest sections of the gorge. As the walk continues, the stone-arched Bohinj railway bridge appears high above the gorge. In some sections, the steep cliffs can reach heights of up to 100 meters. The turquoise waters have formed natural pools and whirlpools along the route. The path through the gorge reaches a natural finale at Šum Waterfall. The wooden platforms above the waterfall allow visitors to view this natural wonder from different angles. Celje Castle. Dating back to the 13th century, the structure is regarded as the country's largest medieval castle. The castle was built on a high hill overlooking the Savinja Valley. Thanks to this commanding position, approaching dangers could be detected before they reached the castle. This advantage was further strengthened by its three-layered wall system. As a result, it was regarded as one of the strongest defensive systems of its time. The Counts of Celje were a powerful noble dynasty that ruled this region during the Middle Ages. The three golden stars on the flag flying over the castle represent the centuries-old coat of arms of this dynasty. Bohinj Lake. Located within Triglav National Park, the lake stands out for its unspoiled nature and unique tranquility. Its clear waters, in calm weather, reflect the surrounding mountains almost like a mirror. Standing on the lakeshore, Cerkev Sveti Janeza Krstnika has been part of this landscape for centuries. More than 70 saints and religious figures are depicted on the interior walls of the church. The bell tower, with its twin onion domes, added in the 18th century, gave the church its distinctive appearance today. The stone bridge next to the church was built in place of the old wooden bridge. The Sava Bohinjka River, flowing beneath the structure, is the only natural outlet from the lake. This peaceful corner attracts not only visitors, but also those who enjoy fishing. Many also choose to explore these tranquil waters by boat. The view formed by the church, the stone bridge, and the lake is one of the most photographed scenes in the region. Velika Planina. This is one of the largest traditional shepherd settlements in Europe to have survived to the present day. Even its name reflects the character of the place. Velika Planina means big pasture in Slovenian. Traditional shepherd huts are scattered across the plateau. The sloping roofs of the huts were designed to withstand harsh alpine winters. Among these traditional huts stands Kapela Mariae Snežne, one of the plateau's most recognizable landmarks. Despite its peaceful appearance, the chapel bears the scars of war. The original structure was destroyed during the Second World War, but it was later rebuilt and opened to visitors. Its architecture was carefully designed to blend in seamlessly with the plateau's traditional shepherd settlement. Piran. The city is built on a small peninsula along Slovenia's short Adriatic coast. According to one view, the name Piran derives from the Greek word pour, meaning fire. The first city walls, known today as the Walls of Piran, were built in the 7th century to protect the city. From the walls, visitors can enjoy panoramic views of the historic town and the Adriatic coast. Located at the tip of the peninsula, Piranski Svetilnik has guided sailors for more than a century. The lighthouse was built on an old defensive tower dating from the 16th century. Standing high above the town, the parish church of St. George is one of Piran's most recognizable landmarks. Its bell tower, which rises over 40 meters, was modeled after the San Marco bell tower in Venice. The statue of Archangel Michael at its summit has shown the direction of the wind for centuries. According to local tradition, changes in its direction are said to predict changes in the weather. Just below the church lies Tartini Square, the liveliest point of the city. The square preserves the memory of the world-famous violinist and composer Giuseppe Tartini. Piran's heritage, preserved for centuries, is worth discovering up close. Predjama Castle. The castle's origins date back to the 13th century. However, the structure seen today was rebuilt in the late 16th century. The castle's most striking feature is that it was skillfully set into a massive rock face. Inside, its historic halls reveal how life once unfolded within the castle walls. The Knight's Hall is equipped with armour and weapons reflecting medieval warfare culture. These displays reveal the military equipment once used by medieval knights. The dining hall was one of the important sections at the centre of daily life in the castle. Its table setting and ceramic vessels offer a glimpse into everyday life during that period. This reconstructed judge's bench represents the judicial traditions of the period. Historical reconstructions also show how judicial decisions were carried out. The living rooms are arranged with historical objects reflecting daily life in the castle. Ljubljana. This is the capital and largest city of Slovenia. Ljubljana Castle, located approximately 70 meters above the city centre, stands in a commanding position over the city. The origins of the castle date back to the 11th century. However, in the 15th century, the castle was refortified to strengthen its defence against Ottoman raids. Among the city's historic landmarks, the Robber Fountain is one of its finest Baroque masterpieces. It stands in Town Square, one of the busiest parts of the historic centre. The three male figures on the fountain represent the three important rivers of Carniola: the Sava, the Ljubljanica, and the Krka. The dragon symbol, preserved for centuries, is an inseparable part of the city's identity. It stands proudly on the famous Dragon Bridge. Butcher's Bridge is a modern pedestrian bridge spanning the Ljubljanica River. Thousands of lovelocks decorating its railings have become the bridge's most striking symbol. Another of the city's most iconic bridges is the famous Triple Bridge. Originally a single bridge, the structure gained its present appearance with the later addition of two pedestrian bridges. Just beyond the bridge, the monument of the national poet France Piran welcomes visitors. Today, it is one of the city's most photographed landmarks. Lake Bled. This lake stands out with its natural beauty and historic structures. The most remarkable place on the lake is Bled Island, located at its center. The island's most notable structure is the Church of the Assumption of Mary. Its history dates back to the 12th century. It gained its present appearance through renovations carried out over the centuries. Access to the island is provided by traditional Pletna boats. This centuries-old tradition is still kept alive today. As soon as you set foot on the island, you are greeted by 99 stone steps. Beyond the island, another landmark immediately captures your attention. Your eyes naturally turn toward Bled Castle, overlooking the lake. Dating back to the early 11th century, this castle is one of the oldest castles in the country. When you climb up to the castle, you better understand why the lake has fascinated people for centuries. Looking down from the castle, the first structure that draws your attention is the parish church of St. Martin. Its origins date back to before the year 1000. However, it acquired its present appearance in the early 20th century. The island and the castle, visible within the same frame, create Bled's unique silhouette that decorates countless postcards. Kozjak Waterfall. Although it is only about 15 meters high, its mysterious atmosphere leaves a lasting impression. Wooden walkways lead visitors along the narrow gorge to the waterfall. As you look up, you realize that the waterfall is surrounded by towering rock walls. This natural rock chamber is what gives the waterfall its uniquely mysterious atmosphere. If your journey takes you to the Soča Valley, don't leave without visiting Kozjak Waterfall. Pokljuka Gorge. This impressive gorge is a natural formation shaped by glacial waters thousands of years ago. In some passages, only enough space remains between the two rock walls for a single person to pass through. The wooden galleries built into the rocks create one of the most memorable sections of the walk. Thanks to the wooden bridges, the narrowest sections of the gorge can be crossed safely. After the narrow passages, the gorge suddenly widens. Local people call these wide natural openings vutsi. The next surprise of the gorge is Pokljuka Hall. Its two entrances and naturally lit ceiling make it one of the most interesting sections of the gorge. Another surprise awaits in the form of a seasonal waterfall. This remarkable gorge is an experience that stays with you long after the walk is over. Cerkev svetega Križa. The history of the church dates back to the early 15th century. Rising on a hill more than 700 meters high, the structure can be seen even from kilometers away. The pilgrimage path leading to the church has been lined with 12 historic chapels since the early 19th century. Because the final two stations were never built, this way of the cross is limited to 12 chapels. As the path climbs toward the summit, these historic chapels continue to line the route. This historic pilgrimage route and the hilltop church are well worth experiencing. Most na Soči. Located at the confluence of two rivers, this peaceful town is one of the most impressive stops in the valley. Until the mid-20th century, the town was known as Sveta Lucia. Later, however, its name was changed to Most na Soči, in reference to the historic bridge over the Soča River. Even at first glance, it is clear that this is no ordinary mountain town. It truly looks like something from a postcard. Škofja Loka. This is one of the most impressive legacies the Middle Ages has left to the present day. St. James Parish Church is one of the finest examples of this medieval heritage. The history of the church dates back to the late 13th century. Its bell tower, rising over 50 meters, can be seen from almost every corner of the city. Another of the city's most remarkable structures is Škofja Loka Castle and Museum, standing on the hill above. In 13th century documents, this place was described as an extremely strong castle. The city's medieval heritage extends far beyond its churches and castles. Without the Capuchin Bridge, the silhouette of this historic city would look completely different today. The structure also holds the title of being one of the oldest stone bridges in Central Europe. At the very center of the bridge, the statue of St. John of Nepomuk has accompanied this historic structure for centuries. In this city, instead of chaos, there is a sense of order preserved for centuries. Perhaps what makes it truly special is how vividly its past can still be experienced today. The Italian charnel house, Kobarid. This memorial ossuary was created in memory of more than 7,000 Italian soldiers who lost their lives during the First World War. To this day, the site remains under the protection of Italy. The foundations of the monument were laid in 1936, and it was opened to visitors after nearly 3 years of work. The Church of St. Anthony, rising at the centre, is about 2.5 centuries older than the monument itself. The 3 nested octagonal sections narrow upward, forming the monument's most distinctive architectural feature. Even today, the identities of nearly 1/4 of the soldiers buried here remain unknown. Yet each of them continues to be remembered here with the same respect. Robanov Kot. At first glance, you see only a few wooden farmhouses. Yet these structures are part of a way of life that has continued unchanged for centuries. Perhaps that is why this remains one of the few places where its natural character has been preserved. In the valley's lush green meadows, Haflinger horses are often seen. With their distinctive golden appearance, they are among the most recognizable horses of the Alps. In the valley, traditional Alpine life can be felt even in the smallest details. Spring waters coming from the mountains still flow through centuries-old wooden water channels. Slapnik. Once home to wealthy families, this village still draws attention today with its stone craftsmanship. However, time changed not only the appearance of the village, but also its way of life. The vineyards and stone terraces that were once carefully cultivated were gradually left neglected. Over the years, nature slowly reclaimed these old terraces. However, the village's isolated location and poor transport connections were also among the main reasons that accelerated migration. The Friuli earthquake of 1976 brought an end to life in Slapnik. Since then, the village has remained completely abandoned. Zelenci. This is the most famous point where the Sava Dolinka River emerges. Zelenci takes its name from its emerald green water. In Slovenian, zelen means green. The water of the lake remains at almost the same temperature throughout the year. Because of this, it does not freeze completely, even on the coldest winter days. Its enchanting scenery has fascinated visitors for centuries. Thanks to the wooden walking platforms, this unique wetland can be explored without disturbing its natural structure. The beauty of the Sava Valley even inspired the English scientist Sir Humphrey Davy to write, "I have seen nothing so beautiful in Europe." Rinka Waterfall. It is one of the country's most magnificent free-falling waterfalls. The waterfall is located at the very end of the Logar Valley. Its three-tiered cascade rises to more than 100 meters. Its most impressive feature is the main drop, which falls in a single uninterrupted descent. After the waterfall, the water almost seems to disappear. In reality, it seeps into layers of gravel and continues its journey underground. Its striking appearance has long attracted nature lovers. Thus, we have explored some of Slovenia's most remarkable natural and historical treasures. Thank you for joining us on this adventure. Continue exploring with our documentaries on Bulgaria and Romania, available on the end screen. See you in our next documentary.